Anthony Joshua has accepted an apology for a drug slur directed at him by his next opponent out of respect for boxing and my responsibilities as an ambassador for our sport. That said and done, Britain's three-belt world heavyweight champion then authorized his team to invite Prince Harry to be among the 80,000 crowd in Cardiff's Principality Stadium to watch his title unification slugfest with New Zealand's Joseph Parker on March 31st. As the big punching holder of the IBF, WBA and EBO titles, AJ was responding to WBO champion Parker's admission that he now regrets accusing Joshua of steroids abuse by responding, "In the haste of the moment, to a jibe about me being the Kiwi pie man with something I shouldn't have said." Anthony Joshua left will fight Joseph Parker right in a heavyweight showdown on March 31st. Joshua left has accepted an apology from Parker after a drug slur was directed at him as boxing royalty. Anthony Joshua MBE said of his recent rubbing of shoulders with Prince Harry, "He too is a working man. He loves his boxing and he likes that I am bringing these huge events to our country. We are sending him an invite. If he doesn't want to make himself too obvious by sitting at ringside, we can give him a place in the royal box." There was no time to mention a companion ticket for Harry's fiancée Meghan Markle before Joshua reverted to Parker's allegation and the claim that he had been rattled by the insults. "I don't take things like this to heart," said Joshua as he and Parker came face to face in London to mark the signing of their multi-million-pound contract. "They know the reality. We pay £30,000 for voluntary drugs testing during our training camp, normally about 8 times in the run-up to the fight." Joshua forgives his opponent out of respect for boxing and his responsibilities in the sport. Parker said that he regretted the drugs jibe, which was said in the heat of the moment. Fights: 20 wins, 20 losses, 0 draws, 0 height, 6 feet 6 inches, reach, 82 inches, co-percentage, 100 fights, 24 wins, 24 losses, 0 draws, 0 height, 6 feet 4 inches. Reach, 76 inches, co-percentage, 75. He added, "I also pay my dues for random testing throughout the year by UKAD for the British Boxing Board of Control. They always know when I will be available. The rival camp can't rile me. I remember how Wladimir Klitschko had to put with the same nonsense and just kept on proving himself a phenomenal fighter." Thus Joshua set his now familiar tone of dignity and respect in the preamble for these super fights. Although he did admit that if Parker and his team had carried on insulting now that they have their 33% split of the projected £23 million take, he would have responded with greater vehemence. "I was ready for them if that happened," said Joshua. Heavyweight rivals Joshua and Parker came face to face on Tuesday ahead of March fight. The two fighters face off following the first pre-fight press conference ahead of their clash. "I had asked for a stimulating cup of coffee on the table. I've proved in the past that I would be better than them at the trash talking and table flipping, and I know some fans like a bit of needle," he continued, "but a lot more of the people want to see respect from their role models. Had it gone off, it would have been just fun for me. But Parker and his team were very respectful here, and I don't need the verbals. I just want to fight." The exchanges beneath the crystal chandeliers of the Dorchester Hotel between these two undefeated world champions with thunderous knockout records was restricted to analysis of each other's strengths and weaknesses. Parker and his manager David Higgins reiterated their belief that Joshua may have a glass chin, having been knocked down a number of times in the ring and the gym. The New Zealand fighter claimed it was his destiny to emerge victorious against Joshua. Parker arrived in London last week ahead of the pre-fight press conference on Tuesday. Joshua took a leaf out of U.S. President Donald Trump's Twitter account by dismissing that as fake news. He acknowledged 3 deckings, presumably thereby discounting rumors of another being inflicted in sparring by rising heavyweight star Daniel Janoy, but dismissed 2 of them. He said, "When I was an amateur novice, I was expelled from the Team GB training camp. I went back to Watford and got into more trouble. I was spending the night in a police cell when I was recalled. I had to rush back up to Sheffield by train because they had taken my car away. I went straight into sparring against David Price, who was big and strong and a heavy puncher at the time, and he put me down." Joshua promised fireworks when he clashes with another unbeaten heavyweight champion. "Then I went into the European Championships without enough training, ran out of steam in my 3rd fight and got stopped." Of his higher-profile knockdown by Klitschko in their epic fight at Wembley Stadium, he says, "That probably came a couple of fights too early for me, and I got caught with a great right hand, and you know me. I take challenges because they are not only risky but entertaining," he added. Parker's team keeps saying he hasn't been down, so must have the better chin. "But I am here to remind him that I proved to myself that night that I can get up and recover to get the knockout. Joseph and I are heading for a 12-round dogfight which will require huge heart, and I know that it will take more than a human being to stop me." The shorter Parker claims to be the faster boxer, but with 11 weeks of training still to go, Joshua looks leaner than when he made slightly heavy weather of stopping little-known substitute Carlos Takam in his November defense of his titles at the same Cardiff stadium. Joshua could add the WBO belt to his IBF and WBA titles with victory in Cardiff on March 31. AJ weighed in at a career heaviest 18 st 4 pounds for that fight, but says, "Now I'm already down to 17 st 8 pounds. I will be lighter and quicker this time, and the extra speed will give me even more punching power." Joshua has knocked out all his 19 professional opponents, while 18 of Parker's 24 wins have come by stoppage. Parker has disappointed in his 2 most recent fights despite keeping his unbeaten record, but says, "This is my defining fight. I believe it is my destiny to be the unified heavyweight champion of the world." Joshua says, "May the best champion win. That's me, and this is my year for making history as the first 5-belt undisputed world heavyweight champion. To that end, he hopes to follow victory over Parker by bringing the only other remaining heavyweight title holder, America's WBC champion Deontay Wilder, to a blockbuster mid-summer fight at Wembley. The bookmakers are confident that will happen, quoting Joshua at 1-20 on to beat Parker and a narrower favorite to fight and beat Wilder next. Parker also claims to be the faster boxer despite failing to impress in his last 2 fights.